Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, and alongside me, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the man who took one pie to the face for the kids, Steven. How you doing, buddy? You awake?
The man formerly known as Steven, who's presently known as the spirit that has left Steven's body because he was so tired.
I thought you were just going to say the man that was formerly known as Steven, but is now known as Tired. Like that is my identity right now.
Hi, Tired. I'm Dad. That's me.
I think you were more tired than I was, and I was tired. But like hearing you were telling me, you know, when you left, you went to bed. I didn't go straight to bed. So, I had a lot of other things I had to get through.
So to elaborate on that, like you were saying, like I could have gone longer.
For reference, what we're talking about is we just finished Chortle Games.
Oh yeah,
Extra Life 24-hour live stream. Just yesterday for us. You're watching this on Monday at 12 o'clock Central Time when Chortle Cast, which I'll get there what that is in a minute when that airs. We've just come out of a 24-hour live stream, but we were awake for basically 38 hours or longer.
Yeah. I think it was 38 hours for both of us.
I'm coming up closer to 24 or 48, honestly, but go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
So like for me, I could have kept going. Like I wasn't at the point where it was like, oh my gosh, bed, where are you? You know, but I think for me, I just needed to rest. Because I talked about this during Extra Life, but like it was a very stressful day for me, and that was because of a multitude of reasons that didn't even
revolve around Extra Life and what we were doing.
They didn't have anything to do with Extra Life. It was stuff that was happening behind the camera. Like there were probably 5 or 6 hours of the stream that I wasn't even on camera because I was resolving issues with the stream, but also with other things too.
Right.
So I think that my body, my mind, my heart, everything was just so relieved to have a moment of just peace that my body latched onto that with every fiber of its being, and as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was gone. I don't remember anything.
Gone. I went home, took a shower. I went to my parents' house, so I wasn't even really home.
I also took a shower.
Steven did also take a shower. I had to scrub makeup off, and then I did another scrub just because whipped cream was really intense. And then I ended up talking to my parents for like an hour. I think I went to bed. I got in bed, I went down like a YouTube like black hole of just like I was looking at leaks of the new Pokemon. John Austin Plays. I don't know if anybody knows him in YouTube. He's got great Nintendo videos, and so he usually has a pretty good head on like what's happening, like leaks and like what he thinks things mean. But he's also pretty good about like this is fake. I can tell you this is fake. This is why this is going to be fake. It's fake. But here it is, just if you want to see it. Like so. Anyway, I went down a deep rabbit hole with him about Pokemon, and then I think I went to bed at like 1. But when I went to sleep, I was gone, and I think I didn't get up until probably 10. And you add that extra hour that we got. Thank God they planned this around the time skip or the time change because
that time change was so good.
Oh yeah,
because I think I slept for 10 hours. And that's unheard of for me.
That's great. That's awesome.
And I still had to wake up early. I went to bed at 9.
I text Steven and Brody and Miles on our kind of like channel text thread. And I was like, guys, I don't think I've ever had a better shower. Like that was just the best shower. And the next day, this was like at 10 p.m. I said that. The next day, probably at like 9, Steven texts me, I've never gone to sleep before Anna, his wife, before. I was just like, wow,
like, no joke.
That's saying something.
When I went to lay down, she was still up. She was reading. She was like journaling or something like a good hour or so probably before she normally would be like doing those kinds of things before going to bed. And like, I was gone. Oh man, it was great.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about Extra Life and some of the things that happened. But first, I got to tell you, this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about TV shows, movies, mostly video games, and whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. It's going to be a little bit shorter. We're going to talk, kind of recap about Extra Life. We're going to talk about the DDOS attack that happened to the Extra Life site. and just kind of what that all means and what that kind of did and how it affected us. We're going to just kind of give our story about it. So people who are interested in what happened can kind of see this and know kind of this is what it was like. This is what was happening. And then we're just going to kind of recap on that. And then we'll get to our normal cap of what's coming this week for our channel. And then we'll go from there. So it's going to be a good show. But anyway, let's talk more about Extra Life.
That may have been the longest like lead up into the show introduction that we've ever had.
I don't think so. Someone can probably find a longer one. But anyway.
Yeah. It felt long,
but that's okay. You and I are both tired. We're on a whole nother level. So yesterday for me and Steven, this past weekend, we did the Extra Life 24-hour live stream. It was awesome. I was telling Steven afterwards, first off, let me get to this. So we raised $618 for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Specifically, our money is going towards Blair E. Batson Hospital, which is a children's hospital here in Jackson, Mississippi. That's awesome. Last year we raised $501. This year we raised $618. It sounds like that number is going to grow. I know I've had several people come up to me already and were like, "Oh, I missed the stream. I tried to donate, but it wasn't going through." Like telling me the issues that we were, because of the DDOS attack, which they didn't know all that background, but they were like, the website's not working. I want to donate. So that donation link, chortlegamesextralife.com, is still open. You can go there and you can donate. If you missed the stream or you were having issues with the DDoS attacks and Extra Life was down, you can still go there and donate. That'd be awesome. It'd be great. Still for a good cause. But anyway, so that number is probably going to grow. I might have an update for you later in the year, before the end of the year. I think it's December. Let me scroll down my list here. December 31st of 2019 is when that charity stream of money donations will shut down. So you got till then to start doing those donations. But anyway, it was really great. We had a good time. I kind of want to go over just kind of what our experience was and I'm sure, what I was building up to say. I think this year was so fun and was even more fun than last year, even though we had so many issues, and we'll talk about that. But I felt like I had so much fun. There were so many good moments that came out of it, and obviously we raised more money this year, which just left me you talked about every being of you was tired, I left and I had this floaty feeling of just we just raised $618 for somebody. That's cool, and it's not that's not a huge number, but it's a pretty big number. So I was kind of, I don't know. I was up there on cloud nine, just kind of this is cool. This is a really cool moment.
For some context, I don't know. Guild Wars 2, the gaming community for that game, they actually also did Extra Life and raised $75,000, I think. Mm-hmm. But when you put in perspective, an entire community for one pretty large MMO raised $75,000, raising $618 for as small of a community as we are is pretty great.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I mean, we were just under, we have 700 and something subs. And we raised almost $600.
Almost $1 per sub, yeah.
Yeah, just about. So that's crazy. I was going to say, I'm trying to find the numbers. Extra Life said that total this weekend, even with the issues, and maybe we should talk about issues before we talk about good things, but they raised a total of $9,663,137. No. I read that wrong. $9 million. They raised almost $9 million. Almost $8. Oh my God. I can't do math.
Go back to bed.
I need to go back to bed. $9,663,137 for the kids.
Wow.
So that's crazy. And then let's talk about the issues. So first off, like Steven said, Steven had a long day. I had a long day. My day went longer than it was supposed to, and so I was late. The plan was like we knew I would probably get there with an hour to set up or finish setting up and then starting.
Yeah.
Steven had such a stressful day. He didn't really have a lot of time to set up. So basically, we both got there and we had to start fresh and just we started setting stuff up. And we were going and it was just like problem after problem after problem. Like Steven walks up to me and was like, "Hey, I think we're going to be fine, but like YouTube is working. Like we can get the internet at the studio is able to get on YouTube, but it won't get on Discord. We just got a new firewall. Yeah. I'm not sure how that's going to affect everything." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to just keep setting up. We'll cross that bridge when we get there." We were running out of plugs. We were running out of everything. But I just felt like we'd hit a problem, I'd solve it, and then move on. Or just like things were just hitting us and rolling right off. And then we finally get ready to go live, and our first game was going to be Far Cry in the original plan. And we try to set up to where we can go online. Firewall's not letting us through. So Steven, like you just went into something in my brain at that moment shut off, and I was just like, cool. I'm not worried about trying to do what we were going to do. We'll just, if we got to play Overcooked for 24 hours, we're going to play Overcooked for 24 hours. Like that's where something in my brain just turned off and was like, no stress. Like we're not going to worry about this. Like we're just going to keep rolling. And Steven, not that he was stressing, but his brain was like, I can fix this. I'm gonna figure this out. And so Steven was gone and was working on internet stuff. And Steven, what were you doing? Because I started the stream. I think Steven was sitting with me when we started, and we kind of said, "Hey, here's what we're doing. Steven's gonna go figure this out. I'm gonna play God of War." And like.
Yeah, so the original plan was start with Far Cry Arcade, start big, because a lot of you guys probably remember that was one of our big things, which we did say we owe you guys a Far Cry Arcade stream. You'll get it. We just don't know when, but it's coming. So we tried to do that, and it was like, hey, the internet was working, PlayStation Network was working. We saw that our friends were online and everything, but the firewall was blocking us from communicating with the game servers. So we couldn't play any online game. Even though we were connected to the internet. So it was so my whole thing that I thought was like, we just started. I'm going to be miserable this whole time if I just let this thing beat me. Like if I'm being honest, throughout the whole day, like I'd been working on video after video that I had to edit. I was doing website management and editing, all that kind of stuff. And I needed a win. I needed a win. And something snapped in me when it was like, oh, the firewall's like, something happened where I just thought to myself, like, I'm beating this thing. This is the win that I need. So I started texting a couple people that help with the IT here at my church that I work at. And then I got to the point where I think I walked on camera and I was like, okay, here's the bad news. I can't reach anybody. Nobody's responding to me. I don't know the router IP, so I can't get in. But the good news is I have a plan B and C that I'm currently working on that involves what I did as a high schooler, stealing my neighbor's internet.
Right.
Like I went into, as a lot of you said, big brain time.
Big brain time.
And I was in doer mode. I was going to fix it. It was either going to be connect to another network that didn't have the firewall to a desktop that was closer towards that router, bridge a long Ethernet cable back to the PlayStation so it could get through the firewall but still have enough internet to at least connect to a game server. Plan C was take a laptop, like I have a MacBook that I use for certain things here at work, and take that, move it to the room closest, a room that's like a halfway point between this other network that's not firewalled and us. Set it up as a router, like a proxy router, so that we could connect wirelessly down here. So basically taking that signal and translating it at a halfway point to this room. Like that was plan C. And then eventually one of my guys got back to me and they were like, hey, here's the router information. Let me know if that helps. And so I ended up getting into the admin stuff on the router, and I'm not an IT guy. I'm a media guy. My title is media coordinator. So I shoot videos, I edit videos, I do social media with a little bit of IT. I can tell you to unplug it and plug it back in. My knowledge obviously goes a little bit further than that, but I am not that guy that's like, if someone comes up to you and is like, hey, we need you to change the behavior of this router in the computer room, I'll just be like, okay, so here's this guy's number, and you can call him. That's basically what I do. So I was looking at all the admin stuff, and it was just like, okay, I've got to figure this out. And I managed to get us 70% of the way, I would say, to where like we were able to communicate with game servers. We got into Anthem at like 10 o'clock, so like an hour after we initially planned
to be playing Anthem.
Doing it, which I got us into Anthem. We were able to play those online games, but the one problem that I couldn't figure out was we couldn't connect to each other's PlayStations. Like we couldn't host or join a direct game connection to where like, that's not 100% true.
I was about to say the problem also seemed to be that like only one of our PlayStations could do something at a time.
Yes.
Like Human Fall Flat, I think is probably the best example because we had a host room and Jeremy from 8-Bit Gamesters was able to join me in that host room, but you weren't able to. And vice versa. And we tried different things. There were so many problems.
And it may have been that we ended up sharing an IP address somehow.
Right.
To where we were competing for that. I don't know. But the fact that we were able to be in the same party for games like Anthem. We played Anthem together. So I don't know. It was super weird. But I got it working somewhat. So I guess
it was
yay for that.
It was an 80 to 75% win. So we had those issues already, right? Of just things were not working on our end. I'd say
there was a point at like I think maybe 12 o'clock, something like that. It was closer to like maybe 10 or 11, where I made a post on Facebook. I was like, "Hey, the technical difficulties are gone. Like come on down." And then like an hour later, we inherited more. Yeah.
So we had those issues. And I'd say we powered through pretty well. First off, I'm so glad I brought God of War because that was kind of a backup solo game in case I just wasn't feeling Hitman. But I ended up playing that for like the first 3 hours, and then we needed to do. So I think that's when we did Anthem, but then we needed to do something. Anyway, we rolled with the punches and did. I think we did great. We had so many other games that were just like in the queue that we hadn't even thought about or talked about or planned, that they worked and they were ready and we had them going and it was great. But so we get all that kind of working and we're dealing with those problems. And then, you just even jinxed it. Then we start noticing or hearing from some of our subs, Kalen in particular, our mod, he was like, hey, I'm having trouble getting the link to work. And I was like, that's weird. Like, I have a personal domain that I bought for the channel to connect our donation link to, so it would be simpler, because otherwise it'd be like www.extralife/charity/chortlegames/ whatever. Yeah. So that's just too complicated for me. I need like a simple chortlegamesextralife.com go. Like that's what I need. So anyway, started checking that, started pulling up the donation page. Extra Life is not working. Like, just the website is not accessible. I'm trying it on my phone. I'm trying it on my laptop. It's not. So I understand that it's not us. Like, it's not the Wi-Fi issues. It's not the firewall that's causing problems. And so at that point, Brody starts sending us like, hey, this is everybody's problem. And he's sending us stuff from Extra Life's Twitter of, hey, the website down. We're looking into it, whatever. Eventually we figure out, and kind of the story that comes out of this is that Extra Life experienced multiple DDoS attacks on their website. Steven, you're more of a tech guy than I am. Like, if it had just been me, I wouldn't have been able to do any of the IT stuff that you did. So, like, you're just a little bit further than me. What is a DDoS attack?
My understanding is that when, like, you're basically like pinging a domain to where it gets so overloaded that it crashes. Like you're basically simulating like an overload of traffic. I think is what that is. So basically, you're
it's not
flooding
like
a website to crash it.
It's not like you're hacking into a website and disabling it. Or
I don't
anything.
believe so.
You're just overwhelming.
That's why with a lot of, I believe that's what it is, because that's why they're fairly common, is because it doesn't have to do with like hacking into a website, changing or anything. It just has to do with an external attack.
Right.
That I think.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, they had multiple of those. So the site at first, I kept telling people, I was like, give it maybe 30 minutes, then try again, or give it an hour, try again, because every now and then I'd be able to get in on my phone or on my laptop or something. So it was like, hey, just keep trying. But then we eventually, like I said, started to find out, no, this is an attack on Extra Life, which Brody, I think he said it just the best. He was like, this is disgusting. He was like, who would do this? Is a charity. This is this charity's biggest day, where as a community, like, gaming has a lot of toxicity. You know what I mean? But to me, stuff like this is one of the things that you look at and they're just like, there's something good in the gaming community. You know what I mean? And you take things like Untitled Goose Game and this, and that's the good things in the community. But to see somebody attack that is just so, like he said, disgusting, and it makes me sick to think about it. And it's just crazy. But actually, I was telling Steven, I was kind of reading up about what the attack was and what happened and everything, and the Children's Miracle Network Hospital CEO John, I lost his name. John Locke, I think. He said that they estimated that the charity lost $1 million. Not that that money was stolen, because again, it wasn't a hack; it was just an overload. Right. It was from lost airtime, basically. So that's crazy. But it's even crazier to me that even with losing $1 million worth of airtime, we still raised almost $10 million. So it's crazy.
So it's interesting because when you look at the attack and the time slot in which it happened, it was a fairly long time slot, but the majority of that time slot was like midnight into like the afternoon. Yeah.
Because towards the end, we didn't have any issues. In fact, some of the ones that we knew people had donated, like they had showed us their PayPals of like, hey, I donated. Those started to come through, or like it started to come out that like, oh, that donation didn't actually go through, and they kind of redonated. Towards the end, it all seemed to be fine. So, and we ended early. Like most people started at 12 p.m. on Saturday and ended at 12 p.m. on Saturday. We ended at 8 p.m. We started at 8 and ended at 8. So I'm glad it eventually got fixed and got overtaken. But it's crazy.
It was, if that were to happen, like if Extra Life Services going down were to happen at any time, that Friday night slot was probably the best time for it to have been down.
Right.
So that's at least a plus side, but oh man, got the burps.
It's crazy.
But like you were saying, like what kind of despicable person does that? Like, whether it's just a showing of power or a form of trolling, like this is raising money for children in hospitals. Like there is not a single like entity that deserves and needs help more than that is children that are so sick that they need to be in a hospital. Like those are people that literally can't fend for themselves. They haven't had a chance to really live life yet, and you're gonna try to take money from them. Like, that's disgusting. I don't understand.
I don't either. and just to kind of continue talking about our experience with it, basically just people weren't able to donate, and that's all it was.
Yeah.
And it was down. But I'm proud of our community because we had great viewership the whole way through. Even though donations weren't going through,
Seriously.
people were there.
Yeah, like,
and people hung with us. I know Kalen, our mod, he stayed through the whole 24 hours. He was probably up as long as, if not longer than us. We had Little Gorlurk. He was another one of our mods. He was mostly on, in and out. We had some folks who hadn't been there in a while come back. Vlad was there for a little while. But a lot of turnout, and that was really exciting, and I'm glad. And I was telling I think I said it on the stream. It was like, well, when you stream for 24 hours, you kind of learn the time slots that most people can tune in, because it really was like somebody would tune in and be like, oh, y'all are live right now?
Yeah,
like,
honestly,
what are you doing at this time? So
honestly, we should have taken notes and used it as we should use Extra Life as an annual gauge of when who can tune in.
Yeah. I should.
So we can make a chart.
When I go back through, I'll make notes. Anyway, but yeah. Okay. So so that's what happened. That's the issues that happened, and I'm really proud of us and of you guys for just pulling through that and moving through. Let's talk about some of our favorite moments from Extra Life. I'll start, since I kind of sprung this on Steven a minute ago. I'm sure you've got something, but I'll just give you another second or two to think about something. I think my favorite moment was when we played Fishbowl. We had our friends, Steven and my friends, Elizabeth and Ben, and then Anna, Steven's wife, came, and we played this little game called Fishbowl. You can go back and watch the whole thing. It's probably some of the best moments come from that. But one of my favorite moment probably was when one of my entries to the game was Jake on Fleck. I meant Jake on Fleek because I had got my makeup done. That was part of the reward tiers. If we hit $250, I was going to get my makeup done. So Elizabeth, who was also there, had done my makeup. So anyway, and something you say like on the internet is, "Ooh, eyebrows on fleek," whatever. So I meant Jake on fleek, like eyebrows on fleek. And so I got that entry, and I had to get Ben, my teammate, to guess that phrase, Jake on fleek. So I'm like, okay, me. He's like, Jake. And I'm like, not off, but he's like, on. And I'm like, man, we're doing great. And then I was like, they say it with makeup, and it's skin. It can come off like when it's peeling. And he was like, flake. And I was like, yes, but say that differently. And he was like, flock? Flag. Like, he was just trying to get there. And I finally got him to flick and then fleck. And I was like, oh, we are so close. Like, can you just get to fleek? Like, and people were spamming in the chat, like, hit that long E, which ended up becoming an entry later. Like that, this guess took so long that we added more entries about this guess. Yep. But anyway, finally, he didn't get it. We couldn't get there. He got to fleck, but he couldn't get to the rest of the way. And so I was like, okay, whatever. We move on. We probably go a couple rounds, and then eventually Elizabeth gets that same entry, Jake on fleek, and is trying to get Anna to guess it. And she's like, okay, that's what they did a minute ago. Who is he? Jake. Okay. Not off, but on. Okay. All right. And then she was like, okay. And she's trying to get her, and Anna knew it. So she was like, fleek. And she's like, no, it's like, and I was like, that is the answer. What is it? What do you mean? And she's like, there's a C in here. This doesn't work. And you looked at it and you were like, Jake, you wrote fleck. And so, well, see, like, that just went I looked at full circle. Like, it just,
when I looked at it, I was like, that looks kind of like a C, but surely no one would put a C in fleek. So I assumed it was Jake on fleek. And so when Elizabeth was like, no, that's not it, I think we were all like, what? And we sat there for a second, and then I was like, it's Jake on fleek. And she's like, no, there's a C. And just no one in the room knew what was going on.
I didn't know how to spell fleek. I
You
felt
fooled everyone,
fleck.
including yourself.
That was my favorite, one of my favorite moments from the whole thing. I'm gonna go back and start rewatching some stuff, and I'll get there in a minute. But
I'm curious if you guys watching would even want to do this, but like, I feel like doing Fishbowl live was so much fun that I would love for us to do it again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For just like a thing we do occasionally, because I think everyone had a really good time. And I think that our people that we play Fishbowl with normally, I think they would really enjoy that. So we should talk to them about doing it again sometime.
I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
What was one of your favorite moments, Steven, from the stream?
So, man, a lot of the stream is honestly a blur for me.
I feel the same way.
I loved all of Fishbowl. I thought that was great. Was killing my knees because of where I had to sit during charades. And so, like, those watching, you probably were wondering for a part, like, what's that furry object sitting at the bottom of the screen? That was my head. That was my hair.
Keep popping
and I was having
up
to sit
and
to where I had to pop up and be like, you probably saw my hands go and type because I had to type in the entries and they were going too fast. So I couldn't do it with the iPad because iPads suck. I had to use an Apple computer instead, which wasn't much better. So that was pretty funny. You remember how I told you that I was holding off on one of the rants,
right?
For when I played Control.
Yeah.
Well, I did that when Kalen, I think maybe Hayes, and Luke were watching, maybe a couple others, and I ranted about the old gods of Asgard, and so I did that whole rant, and that was pretty funny because I even said at one point, I think I was like, I must sound like an absolute nut job the way I'm talking right now. And Kalen was even like, you should do a theory video on it. Kalen probably suggested we make theory videos for like 3 different things.
I think he did, yeah.
He was just like, just do a theory video on it. It's great. But something cool did happen that I was glad I got to experience on camera. And Jake, you need to definitely go watch this. I found a big Easter egg in Control while we were doing Extra Life. And it's the one where Alan Wake literally appears to you in a vision and talks to you. That was the last thing I did on stream before I swapped over to Jake. But
before
I guess
he came
following
and punched
that
me
line,
in the face.
I'm glad you mentioned that because Kalen paid when Jake went to bed for like an hour or two to take his break. Kalen paid to get me to punch Jake in the face to wake him up. And I was like, Kalen, bless you. You're great. Kalen does a great job of being neutral when it comes to doing bad things to both of us. He truly
he's
is
a pleasant
he's true
entity of mischief.
He's a pleasant true neutral. Like he's a pleasant chaotic neutral. That's a better way to put it. But so I was like, yes, this is going to be great. So I went to wake Jake up, as Kalen specifically requested, wake Jake up with a punch to the face.
Did you flip to PyCam to show them?
I did.
Okay, great.
I did. I switched to PyCam, and I walked over there, and I was like, Jake. And I was like, let's go. I had my fist raised. And then he went, huh? And he turned. Little context here. When we hit $250 raised, like overall, Jake got a makeover. So he got some Fleek makeup.
There's some great photos in the Discord of that moment.
Yes.
So go find that and look.
He got some lipstick. Like he looked great. I forgot about that. And so when I was like fist raised, I was like, Jake, wake up. And so he turned, he was like, huh? But he had all the makeup. I went, what? Like, I was so caught off guard to where like I was about to just hit him really hard. And I was just like, wait, what? What's going on? And then I just was like, I don't have the mental power right now to comprehend this and figure out how hard I should punch. So I basically gave him a freebie and just like bonked him on the head. And it was just like, I walked away defeated because it was like I had my moment.
Is that the only time I got punched? Because I'm pretty sure I punched you several times.
Oh, you did. It was the new pie to the face, which I knew it would be. I only got to punch Jake once in the face.
And it was that moment.
I got punched in the face probably. It was that moment. I lost my one moment because Jake had freaking makeup on.
You did get to pie me in the face, though. So that's pretty good.
Oh, that was the best. And my dad paid for it. That was my favorite part of the entire stream because my parents have never watched anything on the channel. My sisters do occasionally, but they don't have a Google account, so they can't comment. And so earlier in the evening, we got a donation from Steven's parents and sisters. And when that happened, I had the thought where it was like, that's Kaylin. That's got to be Kaylin. Because Kaylin was donating as Donald Trump, Kanye West,
Obama.
That guy from the Patriots. Yeah.
Who's the guy with 76?
Just
Todd
Howard,
yeah.
Tom Brady. Yeah. Like he was, and so I just thought, surely that's just Kaylin putting in a donation. And I think, and so I said live, because my sisters were watching, I was like, you guys get to pick what happens. And they were just like, punch Steven in the face twice. And so I was like, okay, cool. And so that's 2 of the punches. But I even asked Kaylin later in the night, because when I was playing Control, there was one moment where like it was just him. And so I was like, Kaylin, I need you to be honest with me. Was that donation you? I kind of suspected it was you. And he said, yes, honest. But I think he misunderstood my question or something, or I misunderstood his answer. Because my dad comments in during like the last, like, it was when we were about to start Human Fall Flat. So it was in our last 2 hours. My dad comments in like, I want to see Jake pied in the face. And I was like, wow, okay, my family's here. Well, you have to pay for it. And he was like, I did last night. And I was like, wait, what? And so I looked at the computer, and it was my dad. And so I was just like, this is unprecedented. What's going on?
I didn't realize you didn't understand that, because I, like, on my app, it didn't show me the names that people put. It showed me, like, their real names. So, like, I saw Forrest, and I was like, cool.
See, I didn't know that you saw the real name. I just saw the donation that said that, and it looked like, if you didn't see the email or the actual name, you would have thought it was Kaylin.
Right.
Because it looked like a Kaylin trick. But so we were talking about like, okay, yeah, let's pie Jake in the face. And Jake's like, but they already got the punches to the face. And so I was like, well, I took the punches to the face, so I'm just going to call those freebies. And so there was a little bit of a minor, like, I don't know if Jake was just trying to get more money or trying to weasel out of the pie. I don't know. My dad eventually said,
go ahead.
My dad eventually said, just take the pie, Jake.
I was not trying to get out of the pie. I was just like, if we like neutralize those punches and someone doesn't come back and pay for them, it's like, what is that going to set a bad precedent for the last however many hours of this? And I was just like, but y'all were just so like, just take the pie, Jake. I was like, I'm not going to get into this. I will just take the pie. Something is a freebie here. I don't know if it was the punches of the pie, but it happened. So
the punches were the freebie. We're just going to say that.
I mean, technically they paid $50, and that was for a pie. So they didn't even really utilize their full donation for the punches.
Well, funny you say that, because I think I may have said this to you, but you probably forgot if I did. My sisters also asked for you to sing in Korean.
Oh, yeah, I did.
And when Laura, the oldest of my younger sisters, when she found out, she was like, oh, sorry. She texted me. She was like, oh, sorry, we didn't know. I can pay you for the Korean impression. I don't mind. They're so sweet. But it was great. Oh, man.
It was great.
That was fun.
Well, you know what? I paid my swear jar donation, so I could just lump hers into that. So there you go. It all works out. It all checks out.
There you go. It all evened out.
Oh, man. But good times. Good times. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortle Cast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. If you're watching on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com. You can like this video, share it with your friends. We'd appreciate it. You can leave us a comment, let us know what you thought of all these topics, and topics being extra life. And then you can also, if you're a podcast listener, you can leave us a review on iTunes. That really helps us out. You can also follow us at Chortle Games on Twitter and on Facebook. And you can join our Discord, which you can get to in the description of this video, unless that link is still broken for a year. Or you can go to the banner on our channel and join from there. And we've got all sorts of great stuff. There's lots of funny moments from Extra Life already in that. So if you want to just go back and kind of skim through some of those, they're funny. There's a great photo of me with the makeup, and I'm next to the matchmaker from Mulan, and it's the likeness is uncanny. I mean, really, it's impressive.
Really is. That was my other favorite moment from the stream, was Hayes making that connection.
He did that like so fast. Like the makeup was being put on and that happened. So anyway, we have a lot of fun in our Discord, so come hang out there. And then, yeah, that's it. But this podcast is not the only thing we do here on the channel, Steven. We have lots of other content. The podcast, Chortlecast, airs every Monday at 12 o'clock Central Time. For this week, Steven is going to be streaming some Division 2 this Monday night. So stay tuned for that. Get excited about that. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays or Thursdays, we do what we call Tea Time, which is where we team up on a stream and do some sort of co-op game. We're probably going to be streaming Thursday this week. We may do Far Cry. We may do Destiny. We'll just kind of play it by ear and see where we're at. We may do Anthem. I don't know. We'll just play it by ear. There were a lot of games we didn't get to play on Extra Life that we were planning on playing, so we might have to back out.
There really were.
We honestly might have to do Human Fall Flat with Jeremy just to make that happen, because that was gold.
That needs to happen. Yeah.
So we might make that happen. But anyway, plan on Thursday to see that. May jump to Tuesday. We're just going to see how it goes. Wednesday is when we air our Let's Plays. This week, I'm going to try to put together a highlight supercut type video of funny moments from Extra Life 2019 and just put it there so we can see it. And when we want to talk about Extra Life next year, we can point back to that and be like, hey, that's the funny 20-minute video that you can go watch of a 24-hour live stream and get all the moments you need to know about. So anyway, so that's going to be the Let's Play for this week. And then, of course, Friday, we will be live streaming again. I will be live streaming Friday night. Steven will be live streaming Saturday night. I don't know what we're going to play Friday, but Death Stranding does come out Friday. And I'm not saying...
Or instead of playing a pile of garbage, you could... I might be able to join you. We may be able to do one of those other games that we missed out on. If you don't want to do a solo stream.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm still going back and forth if I want to try Death Stranding. I just can't. I can't.
Well, let me tell you. If you get Death Stranding, you're going to be doing a lot of back and forth too. Between walking places.
Yep, that's true. And
that's all you'll be doing.
That's all I'm going to be doing
for the entire experience. Yes,
probably so. I'll talk myself out of it. But anyway, we'll be live streaming Friday night and Saturday night. So stay tuned for all that. So we will be having a forward compatible this month. We're kind of organizing when that's going to be and what that's going to be. So stay tuned for that coming soon this month.
I'm between a few games. I'm not going to tell you what that game is, but I will give you a hint. Because of all the Star Wars content coming out this month, it is going to be a Star Wars game. So let's see if you guys can guess in the Discord or in the comment section of this video what that Star Wars game is. Good luck.
There you go. Fallen Order coming out not this week, but next weekend, all along with Pokemon.
Which we will be playing. We will be playing Fallen Order and Pokemon at some point.
I'm going to be playing Pokemon when it comes out. I'm pushing Star Wars back. Star Wars going to have to wait. You know what I'm saying?
I am not buying Pokemon, and I'm getting Fallen Order, and I'm going to be really... I'm really going to enjoy it.
I'm getting both, and I'm going to enjoy both, but I'm playing Pokemon first, and I'm going to stream it. So here we go. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, thank you for donating with Extra Life. If you still want to do that, you can go to chortlegamesextralife.com and donate there. If you want to keep doing that, that'll be open until December 31st of 2019. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Steven, as always. We'll see you next time.